time that Cornelius Custom Services 8 o'clock report here on your Lincoln Toledo Q94.7. And every Wednesday when you hear the Tijuana Taxi, you know what that means. It's time to talk to Joe, the Bryan Insurance guy. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you on this brisk Wednesday morning?
Well, it's a lot better today than what it's going to be tomorrow morning.
That's what I heard. It's riding the roller coaster. It's like we're at Six Flags with the weather now. It's warm, it's cold, it's warm, it's cold, but tomorrow it's going to be chilly. Generally,
when we have the stock show is when it gets cold.
Really?
I think that weather is like, stock show was last week, so they got to kick it in this week. But we'll be good to go. You know, Joe, whenever January rolls around, we were getting ready for Valentine's Day, we start thinking March is coming, spring's coming, everybody wants to start doing repairs to their homes and things like that. Contractors, people are going to be out, you're going to be working on your house and things like that. Homeowner policies, when it goes to covering contractors, when it goes to covering yourself, when it goes to that kind of stuff, how does all that stuff work?
Well, what you need to do is you need to kind of sit down and plan out exactly what you're going to do. If it's a situation where it's time to replace the floor, so you're going to put down some new laminate or tile or something like that, not a big deal. Hey, it's time to redo carpet, not a huge deal out there. Maybe you're going to change out a window here or there, not a huge problem from an insurance perspective. But if it's a situation where, my elderly mother's going to move in with us, so we're going to need to build on like an extra room onto the house. That's when you need to start thinking about a builder's risk policy. Anytime you're going to get a contractor to come in and do something for you, you need to look at a builder's risk policy to cover yourself during the time that the construction's going to be going on. The other thing I can't stress enough is when you're dealing with contractors, you need to check a couple of things. You definitely need to verify references. Verify references not only for quality of work, but time to get the work done. You hear so many horror stories of, they said it was going to be 2 weeks, and that was 6 months ago. And so check references for not only quality of work, but how long it takes them to get the work done. And you need to verify that they have insurance. The last thing you want to have happen is you have a contractor come in, start doing some work, one of his guys gets hurt on the job, and then the next thing you know, they're coming after you. You want to make sure that they have the right kind of insurance and verify that the stuff is valid. But back to the builder's risk thing, you can get a builder's risk policy if you're doing something as simple as, adding a second story, you're going to add on a couple of rooms, something of that nature. Or we had a couple of folks come in towards the end of the year last year, and we're going to be starting new houses. And so, if you're going to be building a brand new house, you need to have a builder's risk policy to cover that, to cover as you're building it.
Now, how does it work? Let's say you and I, we know how guys are. We're all amateur plumbers, electricians, and carpenters, all that stuff. Let's say I put in a hot water heater, and then I decide, hey, it looks good. I leave for the weekend. I come home, my house is flooded.
Right.
Same way I do some electricity work, that sort of thing. And maybe I burn something up. Maybe I blow an appliance up or something like that. How does your homeowner's policies cover things that maybe you do to yourself?
You always want to make sure if you're going to do anything major that you want to have a licensed professional do it. Again, we're all amateurs. I can change out a light bulb. I can, probably change out a wall socket. That's probably not going to be too difficult. Anytime you're doing anything major, though, you want to get a professional in there to get it done for you. Now, let's look at a water heater, for example. Those suckers go out all the time. You can either call up Lake Country Plumbing, have those guys come in, have Joe come out and do it for you, or I feel like I can probably do a hot water heater. It's not going to be a big deal. Although if it's PEX versus hard, I don't know. But anyway, let's say I'm going to throw it in. And again, you go out of town for the weekend, the new hot water heater I just put in sprung a leak and leaked all over the floor. Most policies are going to cover that. Strangely enough, they won't cover the actual hot water heater itself. So let's say it blew up or, has a crack in it or something of that nature. They'll repair the damage for you, but they're not going to actually replace the hot water heater. But all of that is subject to your deductible as well. And so that's the other thing you want to keep in mind. Much like auto insurance, every homeowner's policy has a deductible. Now, some of your older homeowner homeowner policies maybe have a small deductible like $1,000 or something of that nature. And the other ones are typically going to have a 1%. Some new policies you're seeing out there, due to the losses that people had over the past couple of years, some companies are requiring a 2% deductible. And that's 2% of the value that your house is covered at. So simple math, because I'm a simple person, $200,000 house, you got a 1% deductible. Your deductible is $2,000. So what does that mean? Hey, my hot water heater blew and it flooded and I got water everywhere. Okay. Definitely want to have somebody come out, bring up the water, Rainbow come out there and suck all that up for you, Service Master, something of that nature. But you need to kind of evaluate, how much is this going to run me? At the end of the day, if it's, hey, we're just pulling up some carpet, sucking up some water, going to dry it out, bill's $800-900 and you got a $2,000 deductible, well, you haven't really met that threshold of deductible yet. Probably not a good idea to file it, because it's not going to help you to file anyway, because you haven't hit your deductible. On the other hand, I had a client last year who had a guest house with a washer and dryer in it, came home and the washer hose had busted and it ended up flooding the guest house to the tune of about $30,000. Yeah, so something of that nature, yeah, I'll pay $2,000 or whatever the deductible was to get all that fixed. And that's, at the end of the day, that's the purpose of insurance. The purpose of insurance is to, A, get you back whole again, but it's also for the big stuff, the house burned down, right, half the house burned down, big water damage, things of that nature.
Well, so what you're really saying is, on big stuff, you recommend an insurance perspective. Try to call a professional before you try to do it yourself, unless you really know what you're doing.
Exactly. If you are a licensed plumber or electrician or something of that nature, sure, no problem. But if it's a deal where, hey, I got to move a drain, I got to rerun some water, over here, I'm going to put in a new shower, something of that nature, probably not a bad idea to get a professional. Call up, Lake Country Plumbing, get Joe Todd out there. He'll take care of it for you. And, that alleviates you the 6 months down the road of, did I do that right?
Right.
I hear something dripping. Oh, no. Did I do that right after I've sheetrocked the entire wall and put all the stuff on it? So, yeah, if it's something like that, go ahead and get the folks out that do that for a living.
Probably a good idea. Well, if folks want to call you for advice, or maybe
life advice or insurance?
Either way.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm sure you're there to assist in either way. But if folks want to get a hold of you, ask questions, how's the best way to do that?
Really, really simple. 549-2525. You can talk to myself, ask for Joe, ask for Lynette, ask for Ann, and they will certainly steer you in the right direction. If you also want to come up to the second floor of the First National Bank building, I guess until they change that, come on up to the second floor of First National Bank building. We're doing a little bit of remodeling, doing some tile work, some painting.
It's looking a lot better.
Looking a heck of a lot better. Denny's really knocking it out of the park up there. So come on up to the second floor. Ask for, again, Joe, Lynette, myself. Also, here in a couple weeks, we're going to have a couple of commercial guys come in. Ty Gerner's going to be coming in and visiting with us, kind of going over some commercial stuff. We've got commercial policies that we do too, from a commercial auto to, hey, I want to start my own business, what do I need to do? We've got those guys there as well. So we kind of take care of both sides. We're there representing you. So come on up, ask us the questions, and we're going to get you taken care of.
So get it done. And Joe's be getting a new office too, so that'll be pretty cool, so that people can go see you in your new office.
Exactly.
Be very sharp.
It will be wonderful. It will be glorious.
That's right, glorious. There'll be all kinds of couches and fountains and all kinds of stuff.
Well, let's not get nuts. We're not going couches and fountains.
Maybe a swimming pool. All right, Joe, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thank you, Rick. We'll see you next week.
Have a great time. All right, that's Joe, the Bryan Insurance guy here on the Cornelius Custom Services 8 o'clock report. Steve.